Fashion hasn't changed much since it first became a thing in the 17th century, other than the new designs and trends popping out of every generation. But Gudit sees a different future for the fashion industry, with the use of technology. They create applications that make life easier for the consumers and give them more information about their piece of clothing. This means more transparency and traceability towards consumers about the production process and the sustainability of the product.
The production and in the relation, in the ways of relation between us and customer, we need to focus in some new application or some new software, because it's not easy as now a lot of people use WhatsApp as a business structure, but I think it should be all the details going in the application or in the software.
We have this vision to use technology to improve sustainability and the processes from production to distribution. We worked on it like a few years already, things like Project FIMDesk, where we are building all-in-one software to improve the processes of every step that the product needs to go through to become the product that the customer actually wants.
By training our developers to think like customers do, we managed to set some amazing products in the market. Products which can help traceability of sustainability in the fashion, and products that can help manufacturers and their customers communicate on a better way. With our experience over the years, we developed different solutions. Solutions like a product called FIMDesk, which help the manufacturer with their efficiency and processes towards the fashion companies, and CTech, a product to bring traceability from the whole supply chain. We've managed to find a way to make every step in the supply chain traceable by using blockchain. By optimizing the workflow between a fashion company and a manufacturer, we enable a transparent and reliable work process.
I don't think there is any solution that already taking all this process into account and have it on a software. So we are building this, and we talked with a lot of manufacturer and fashion brands, and they're all like very excited and interested to use this.
Gudit made it easier for me with FIMDesk, because they sent me just a link and then I clicked, and there I could choose colors, and it was heaven for me. Then I can see, okay, this what I wanted, this what I didn't want it, and it was so easy just to work with FIMDesk.
And from that place, when you got all the information, you understand all the process is done, and after that you can start production. And when you start this step, you understand all the mistake. It's double check or control by you and customer, and also it's very important to use the application, because I believe when you use application, it's more useful.
So what we found out when we were working with manufacturers, we found out that communication is a big challenge in the industry, because obviously when the designer has something in her or his mind, they want it in a certain way. But for the manufacturer to understand, you have to make a concept design. But you can make concept design in multiple ways. Some people like to draw it, some people are giving it to you digitally, and some just give it like very detailed, and some are very summarized information. So we as a company decided that we did the tech pack for the actual customer that wanted to have the piece of clothing, because that's the best way to specify the product. And we saw that there's so much other things to consider in communication, because obviously when we talk about the color red, for example, you have red, but there's so many ways of red. And then you have also the type of screen. Is it RGB? Is it CMYK? Is it Pantone? What's the indicator of the color? So it's really hard to make sure that everything is clear for the manufacturer, but also clear for the designer that want the piece of clothing. So we saw immediately there's a really big gap in between like imagination and reality. So what we came up with is actually a platform where we could register all this information. When we're talking about a color, we need to talk about the same color indicator. For example, we talk about Pantone, but what type of Pantone? Pantone that's really specific for textile. And then we keep talking the same language. And then, for example, measurements. Some people are measuring in inches, some people are measuring in centimeters, and you have already there different type of measurement. But then also about if you measure the clothing, some people are considering a margin from maybe 1-2 millimeters, but others are having a margin of 3-4 millimeters. So these little details will make sure that the product will be the actual product that it needs to be. So there's a lot of communication errors that can happen. So we made this platform to ensure that manufacturers, brands, and other parties that are involved in the process could communicate on one platform and have everything cleared out without any misunderstandings. So actually we now have a quite all-in-one solution where fashion companies can use this platform as an all-in-one software where they can operate their day-to-day activities.
And then we also have like something called CTEK. CTEK is like NFC technology, and you can use that technology also to check your product. When you use your phone and chip it on the label, for example, then you can see information about the product. A lot of brands are using this already, but they're using it to go into their website and buy more products. But what about the data of that product? Where is it made? What fabric is it made of? Under which circumstances? What was the process from the commodity to the fabric into the product? What was the process there? You can release a lot of data and make it transparent for the market. So that the implications are endless. And we are building this technology, CTEK, where we can release all these implications.
One of our biggest goals is to ensure that we can have a fashion environment where things are traceable. So we had a lot of discussion with a lot of companies to find out what their challenges was in traceability. And what we found out is that many companies are really working on traceability where the whole process is traceable. But when I asked them the question, okay, how can you make it traceable for the consumer? Most of the time they don't really have an answer. So based on that information, we decided to make a solution called CTEK. With this solution, we enable to have every step of the process within the supply chain and make it traceable. And what will happen if you make it traceable? You actually force companies within the industry to become more sustainable. So making it traceable will eventually make sure that everything is transparent, and that's what the solution is actually. Another project which we work on is the Codit Marketplace. And the Codit Marketplace we built because we saw that there are a lot of brands that had the need to push their brand obviously in a certain environment. It can be a store, but it can also be a digital store, which is obviously a web shop. So we saw there's a big need for web shop. But instead of of building an own web shop, which is quite common. Every brand nowadays has their own web shop. We thought, okay, but what about the consumer? Because consumers are not tending to go at one web shop and then the other web shop. Consumers like to go to a web shop where there are a group of brands, because then they can choose. So we decided to build a platform where more brands can subscribe and sell their stuff. So it's really a platform where buyers and sellers can meet each other. Actually, from experience, we have managed to find solutions that work out for our customers, but also for our suppliers. So when we decided to do production for third parties, actually it was a way for us to learn more about the fashion industry, because we did the A to Z process of a whole production for any type of garment. But with that experience, we noticed that manufacturers have a big challenge with their communication, and also how they bill their clients, how they keep stock, how they manage the project, etc. And we thought we had the same challenge. So we were building actually a platform that was meant for us in the beginning, but eventually started to be also interesting for other companies in the fashion industry.
So over the years, we were thinking about how can we take the fast accelerating technology and combine it with fashion. We found different existing technologies we've been laying around for years, which can help the fashion industry to be more sustainable, efficient, and transparent. We're using day-to-day technology, but with a different perspective and with experience to build the perfect solution.
Technology that's being made is made out of assumptions, but the experience proves that it isn't always that great, because we have all this technology, and if you're looking at the market right now, you have startups popping out everywhere. But that's also one of the reasons that more than 90% fails, because most of those ideas are based on assumptions and are based on what they think will work, but the experience will prove that it's different. There are so many problems in this world we need to fix, and if everybody solves one problem, then we're much closer to having a better environment. And that's what we're trying to do by making fashion more sustainable with the insights of technology. And of course, there can be discussions about, yeah, but technology is not always sustainable as well. You're totally right. But still, when we build technology, we also have to consider what are we hurting on the other side. And that's really something we have to think about when we come up with ideas, because there are a lot of people out there having great ideas, and of course I support all those ideas and go for it yourself and make this idea into reality. But think about what you are doing with our environment. All of these thoughts we have about our business made us developing the business we are currently doing. We help a lot of brands with their products, but at some point we decided, okay, we're not only helping these brands to get their product, but we're also helping them to become more aware about sustainability. So actually we don't give our customer the choice anymore to do otherwise, because we believe that we should be aware with the choices we make and the choices we give.
Now we are choosing sustainability fabric like cotton, like linen, tencel, viscose, and also we start to use recycled polyester and recycled cotton and recycled fabrics. It's very important, because if we use them, we don't need to use more energy for production the new fabric, and it's very important. And a lot of people is follow and is support this kind of job, because especially in the Europe or also other country, the people are thinking about these important things, and the people want to use recycled product because they want to take care about nature. And I think we need to use something like a logo in the product to people understand this product is follow the rule of sustainability, and also it needs some organization to accept this product is a sustainable product, maybe S logo or something like this. to show the people, and the people, oh, I will support my nature, I will buy this product, I will use this product, and I will support nature.
What we are trying to achieve is not only building a great business with a lot of revenue and doing great work, but also creating a great team.
Our team consists of young and open-minded, out-of-the-box thinkers, developers who are working hard to bring their design skills and their technology skills together. Because we have a lot of great ideas, we needed to expand and grow our team. So we really invest in the education and growing of our team to be great developers and designers.
For us, it's really important. The culture and the team is one of the important things. That's the fundamentals to reach certain goals. For me personally, that is really important, and I believe that we managed to do so because looking at the team and even though we have a lot of stress together with the work we do, or we get a lot of challenges, but still we keep on smiling together and we keep celebrating life. And that's a great thing because you always have something to hold on to, and that's what we have here at Codit, and I think that's amazing. We are that company that is making sure that all these future improvements are being made, not only for ourselves but for the whole world, for the whole society. So we are creating and building this exciting technology and also adapting existing technologies we could use to improve all these processes, to improve sustainability, but also to improve the quality of life and make it more transparent. Because I think that's the case. If we are transparent to each other, then we know how we can fix other problems. And the more transparent the world works, the more ideas will come to improve all these problems that are existing.
We really want to encourage all entrepreneurs in the industry to work towards a more sustainable future. And obviously, technology is all around us. Let us use this technology for the better so we can build on a brighter future.